You know, I ain't got no problem with that because I didn't want to get executed. And then I think it was in 1989 or 90, they actually changed the law about, I ain't gonna say change the law, but they started applying the law as it should be applied about the aggravating circumstances opposed to the mitigating circumstances. They created the death penalty statute, quote unquote, for the worst of the worst. Somebody who got 10 to 15 murders. Somebody, quote unquote, Charles Manson. Not for a first time offender or someone who tripped and the gun went off, but, you know what I mean, they got, I don't like to use this term, but a simple murderer is not for death row because a lot of us believe a murder is a murder. I'm not rationalized, I'm just saying that's what the law says. And so I kept trying to, in my heart, put myself in a position to get some help. And then, I don't know how it happened, but the Supreme Court said, in applying the death penalty statute, you know, you got, some people should be there, some people shouldn't. And they said Richard Simon never should have been put on death row. And it was like they mailed me a life sentence in the mail. After all these years of saying I don't want to do no time, I was actually going to get off death row with no help from no lawyer. No, I'm not going to say no help from no lawyer, but it wasn't like in a traditional appeal. It was just like it came from a prayer answered. So, oh man, I'm stepping high, Dr. Haney. When they said it was time to go, that I was going, boom, I was off death row. It was like, man, after all them years of being on death row, preparing to die, it's okay, now you got to go live in prison, which was another culture shock in itself. But I, my family, my friend, we got what we had all prayed for. My life was spared, so to speak, from the old squawkers, they used to call it. So they sent me down to the general population. Now, make no, don't forget, now I've been locked up in a controlling unit for 16 years. I'm like a dinosaur. You know, I'm not like the population of the old. They got new population now. It's an institution. So I get out. I think it was May 26, 1995, on a Friday. I got out. Went down to the Riverbend Unit 6. I was out. But excuse me, had a life sentence, which in many instances was a lot heavier than a death sentence. Because you know, for a death sentence, all you gotta do is die. For life, you gotta do it every day. And back then, I had one of those warrants to where you, it took close to 30 years to build it before they adjusted sentence and that kind of stuff. And it was kind of depressing to be off death row to where everybody had spirituality, everybody had camaraderie. I was back out in that married world again, to where people lying for a cigarette, people killing for a cigarette, and all that kind of stuff. I was thrust back in as a, that brother said, Abbott, in the belly of the beast. And believe me, that's what it was. You know, if you don't know how to do time, you end up doing bad time. It took me a long time to really learn how to do time. And so I just started learning how to do the life sentence, not thinking I ever would get an opportunity to make parole, because 30 years is a long time, you know, you're doing it day by day. So I tried to find ways to be happy, or be content. Can't be happy in prison. Well, I couldn't be happy in prison, to be content. And so with my religion, I started hanging around my brothers. That way, we had something in common. We prayed together, we played ball together, we lift weights together, and that kind of stuff. I still had my sight then. And so during that time, I still was, like we say, was learning how to do this time. And slowly but surely, I still was putting some on my involvement in being a man. So this was at 95, so I'm 35 now. I've been in prison, like I say, 16, 17 years, tired of being in prison, but who can I talk to, because I'm guilty as charged. So I'm just doing time. I got a parole date now, but it's so far off, I'm still just doing time, doing it day by day. I'm trying to live right, because as I said, as I was preparing to die, I picked up skills on trying to live. And I was blessed to meet a lot of good brothers who had got past all that penitentiary mentality and just was trying to be men. You know, like I said, a lot of times they say that people come to prison and pick up a Bible or Quran, but the Creator is going to show you how to be responsible and be respectful. You know what I mean? You can find manhood in religious books, and that's how I found my manhood, in the religious books. Learn how to have self-respect, respect my cellmate, respect everybody else, and I just started being who I was destined to be. Which was a nice person. I wasn't perfect. Okay,
Richard, we're going to have to end this show for today over the last 30 seconds, but essentially this is the information that we wanted. I think that you've given us some excellent information about how you were able to overcome. It's a kind of situation that not many people would be able to even think about coming out of the system, but you were able to go there and then come out, and of course, I appreciate that. And of course, let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.